So this is to answer the question, the Torah itself calls them chukim. So how does this even entertain the question, they're both called chukim. So it's time to get the answer that mitzvahs b'chlal, all mitzvahs, at their root, are the Ratzon Elyon, Seviv Kol Almin, especially chukim, which are transparently simply the Ratzon Elyon, not dressed up, as it were, not wrapped in seichel. So Malak Kol Almin, in contrast to Seviv Kol Almin, Malak Kol Almin being seichel, division, definition, ishtalshelus, pshat, remez, drush, soid, all the taimim. So that's bischalkus. But the rotzen is not bischalkus. So that's why they're both similar, because they're both chukim. On the other hand, the Medrash said, we're still looking for which one is greater than the other. That's because there is yischalkus and seviv kol almin. As we explained yesterday, there's makifim klolim, makifim protiyim. Or relative, we hear? Relative, right? Relative makifim, which are more overarching or less overarching, less encompassing. The general difference between a makif klali and a makif prati is that a makif klali expresses the more essential definition of whatever we speak of. Get an example of a human being. And makifim pratim all address the expressions, the ispashtos, where one level can be makif levels below it, but it's all in the ispashtos. So likewise, let's continue. Kamoiken, pick up, go back 3 lines from the top of that paragraph. Kamoiken yudua, shesh eses viris di gulim, there's the eses viris as they appear, as they manifest as equal relative to pnimis dikul levels. Right, we explained yesterday that in general, there are 3 levels. There's the etzem, there's the makif, and there is the pnimi, or etzem, klal, and prat, which we've spoken about many times. All things have their essential identity, the makif identity, and the details that make up their identity. Everything, begashmi and ruchni. As we illustrated yesterday, talking about a person on a physical level or personality types. So it's all relative. So there's SS Sviris, the Igulim. There's the SS Sviris as they appear as equal as Makif relative to defined levels below the SS Sviris. There's the Igul HaKeser, Igul HaChochma, relative to Bina, Igul HaBina, relative to Zoh, and Igul HaMalchus, relative to Zoh Atzilus, relative to Biyah, right? Is this clear? Yeah. Is that for us? No. If yes, I'll open the door. It's not locked, huh? We say this was a big point here, which we left with yesterday. Moreover, not only is there, relatively speaking, his chalkus even at the level of Seviv, but the Iker Ischalkus is there. Sheika Ischalkus and Madregis, on the contrary, the endless levels are Dafkin Seviv Kalamin. Kidush Beseviv Kalamin Upchinas Sviris Ein Ketz, they're endless Sviris. Now that's what we're in the middle of saying. We started to explain yesterday what that means. That because, and yet it's all part of Seviv Kalamin. Seviv Kol Almin, it's a transcendent level, surely indivisible. And yet he says this Sviris Ein Ketz. So the answer is, V'mitzad Pshitus Ha'oir, the words of the Maimon. Because of the Pshitus of the Oir, Pshitus means the non-defined nature of the Oir. Pshitus means simple, undefined. Meaning, B'pnei Sha'oir Pashut Be'etzem, Which simply means because it has endless expressions, precisely because in essence it transcends all of them. That's why it can come in endless expressions. And not one of them contains them, defines them, yet all of them express him. As we put it yesterday, what's not lost there is the you. That's the you component, all these endless ways you express yourself. Neither one of them define you, but all of them express you. None of them limit you, but all of them express you. And that's what Pashut Be'etzem means. Simple truth that can and does manifest in endless variations. So Adarab, in the Seviv Kalalmin, that's with Sviris Ein Ketz. Hardcore structure, no. Hardcore structure, it has to be only this and not that. Fundamentally, that's only an Ishtalshalus. Okay, let's see in the words of the Maimed. The Pirush Maima Antu, we learned this, by the way, this next Indian. He doesn't send us the Maimon that we learned. You are one, but you're not part of the reckoning. So the simple meaning is you're not part of the cheshbon of the Esesvidus. But the deeper meaning is you're one, and therefore your expression is leiber chushbon is endless. Because he is essentially one. So when he's manifested, which is a 10 and not more, so then actually this is more the literal meaning. The literal meaning, he's not. You are one, but you're not part of the cheshbon. The cheshbon is atzilus because that is 10 and no more. 10 and no more, that doesn't express your antuchad. But in Seif Kalalmin, Tzviris in Ketz, that's where we are expressed. Avalafa became the Seif Kalalmin. So that is not cheshbon. That's beyond cheshbon. Ein ketz. But what's ein ketz? Svirus is chalkos ein ketz. That's the point here. The chalkos is ein ketz. But it's not becheshbon. Not defined exclusively, contained, this and no other way. Mashenkin Natzilis, it's 10 and not 9, 10 not 11, it says in Sefer Yitzirah. Esevle Achadasar, Esevle Teisha. That's cheshbon. But he's leiber cheshbon. Lafa became a b'chinas seviv kalam and kolam adregis b'chinas ein sof mamish. So all of the levels which are endless are all ein sof because it's the pshitas of ein sof that can express himself in endlessly and without any kind of limit. So Adarabah, that is Chalkos, points to his pshitos. Right? Is that clear? So therefore, this is all kedet to get to our quarry, right? Shaykhis, it chukim to say mi godel, which precedes, getting some kind of whiff of an answer to be developed in the Maimon. Continuing with big emotion from the nefesh, we'll understand it clearer in Eis Gimel. But continue. Avlafa became mishkase beidr zut, like it says in Zoyar. Kahai butzin, like that candle or flame. Dispashet lachol sitar ve'ivar. It spread, the light spreads to every side and direction. But if you want to know, so all this, what is it? What all these lights and all the directions that it's found, what is it? You'll understand that all these lights come from one. It's in different directions, but what is it all? It's all from the one flame. So the Zohar is saying that the spheres ain't cats. It's all what? But sinna bil chodohi, the shleimus of the Ein Sof, and therefore there's no limit to the Ein Sof's expression, to all sides. There's endless expressions. Ella, each one says, this is the Eibishter has no limit, so he expresses himself this way. They all express the Ein Sof, the Ein Sof of Elikus. The Ein Doima, this is stark contrast. The B'chinas Malakal Almin, there post Tzimtzum, she's Chalkus Madreges Elikus Gufa. There is actually, relatively speaking, relative, is actually Chalkus, where each level each level touts its own Maila. Not in Ein Sof. The Chalkus in Ein Sof says the Maila of the Pshitas of Ein Sof. The Chalkus, Malakal Almin, points to the Maila. There's a Maila Chachma, there's a Maila of Bina, inherent, and Chachma is not Bina. And Chesed is not Gvura. So there's this Chalkus. Chesed says there's Maila in Chesed. Gvura says no, there's Maila in Gvura. That's why Hillel and Shammai argue. So that's his Chalkus in Madreges Elikus Guf. It's Pashat Achloikes, Shammai and Hillel. Chesed Atzilus, Gvura Atzilus. Mashenkin in Save of Kalalman, there's no Machlekes there. The Pnimius is the Machlekes either in Atzilus, but that's the Pnimius. But what's revealed and transparent, what's conscious, what's expressed. What's expressed already in Malak Kalalman is the Maila, the inherent, intrinsic Maila of a particular Giloi that this one has and the other one doesn't have. Mashenkin, this is Chalkus as they exist in Ein Sof are completely biskalalus. There's no conflict. There's no machlokes there. Each one says the Eibishter is expressing himself this way, that way. The you again. So I love you. I love you. That's the difference. Are we somewhat clear? Need some more feedback. Can't see or hear anything. Yeah. A Kabbalah's Ildiki, yeah. Let's go further. He's V'yuvan. As I said, it often happens that V'yuvan makes it a little more difficult. Chatchil, but then it gets clear. V'yuvan zeh ma'ashekosa b'Yitzchayim. Understand this by prefacing what it says in Yitzchayim. The quality ishtalshalus nichlal b'hei madreges. All of ishtalshalus can be divided into 5 divisions. Namely, shoyrish, the source of A, neshamas, that's 1, B, or 2, gufim. Sorry.
No.
Shoyrish is 1.
Neshamas.
Shoyrish is 1. Neshamas 2. Gufim 3. Levushim 4. Heicholis 5. Now he's going to define them. This exists in the big picture. Shoyrish neshamas gufim levushim heicholis, and b'chol eilam befrat, and in every individual world. Again, the key word is it's relative. Now he explains. If we speak, so what's the shoyrish of all of the worlds of ishtalshalos? That's Ak, as we learned in the previous Maimon, Adam Kadmon. What's the level of neshamas? The next level on the list here? That's B'chinas Atzilus. The next level, Gufim, what's that? That's Bria. The next level, Levushim, garments, that's Yitzira. And Eicholis, chambers, Heimasiyah, B'chinas Asiyah. So that's in the big picture. Shoyrish, neshamas, Gufim, Levushim, and Eicholis. The same thing in each world. B'chol olam befrat. So these 5 divisions. What's the shoyrish? That's kesed. What is neshama? That's chachma. What's the guf body? That's bina. Levushim. and Heichalis are Zo, and Heichal is Malchus. All words which we have a general understanding of, just replacing words with words. But you understand from the words themselves as you proceed down, progress down, it's more finite. Shodesh, Neshamas, Gufim, Heichalis, Heichal. Now, the words are useful because they do convey the following. Gufim v'neshama isem adreges muvdoli zemizeh. Pashat, a body and a soul are very different. That's why we're invoking these language to convey these differences. Shaguf, and to be noted, obviously, that the gashmis, the gufim down here, all devolve from this level of mind. Shagufim emchinas kelim, the body is the keli, and the neshama is emchinas oiris, and the neshama is oir. They're two different worlds. Now looking more individually into each world, not in this situation, now bagashmi is gufim and neshamas. So applying this also to each world, we said before that bina, right? What was what? You got to get to geography. Let's just repeat it. In each world, what's what? Neshamas is what? Chachma, guf is bina. Shadish is kesed, neshamas is chachma, guf is bina. The second line from the page. Levush is Zah, and Eichalis is Malchus. Yeah? Now it's clear that Gufim and Neshamas are two different worlds.
He says more like Levush and Veichalis is on Malchus. But does that make a difference in the meaning or no?
He just puts them two together. Levush is Zah, and Heichal is Malchus.
Okay.
So just like Neshamas and Gufim are different, Al Derezeh now Baruch Nisa in Yonim L'mayl Chol Elam Befrat. Bina, which he said is Guf, that's mainly Keli relative to Chachma, which is Neshama, which is Ikra B'chinas Oir. All pointing to this is really Schalkas, friends. Ki Yadua Shebina Nikra Bayis Gufni Lagabi Chachma. Bina is called like a physical house. That's why it's called Guf, compared to Chachma. This is the elaboration. Chachma is the Nakuda, and Bina is the elaboration and the building. Bina Melashon Binyan. We take the Nakuda and we develop it into all of the various components of the Seichel, the different floors and the different rooms and different directions. So it's the Guf to the Nakuda, which is Chachma. And Bina is called Kalim compared to Chachma, which is Oir. Oh, this is Ischalkus. Yeah, this is really Ischalkus, different worlds. Oir, Kali, Neshama, Guf. That's why these words are employed to point to Ischalkus and different, vastly different levels, higher and lower. A levush, a garment, just the words themselves, a garment and a heichal. A garment is very close to the person, to the person, heichal, the house that he lives, physical building. They serve different functions, and he wants to say that in the ishtalshalus, there's real ischalkus. Each one has its place, different than the other, lower than the other. They are in their very identity divided. Even though we're talking Olam Atzilus, the Moishe Klolus or Olam Atzilus, Olam Achtos, Upchenes Elikus Mamesh. So we're talking this hardcore division. Yet Olam Atzilus is called Olam Achtos, Tahirihi Elikus Mamesh. How do you reconcile that with Ischalkus? Answer Mikol Malkim. Ze Beginnes Elikus the Oir, Ze Beginnes Elikus the Kalim. But as Elikus comes in guises, as it were, or manifests in different worlds, and in their own worlds, one is not seamlessly connected to the other. One's a mashpia, one's a makabel, one's a neshama, one's a guf. So it's holiness but holiness that comes in division, each one staking, as it were, its own claim in Mila. Integrated holiness, to be sure, but still different levels. Again, Shammai and Hillel, are they holy? Are they? So they're holy. Do they argue? Yeah, so that's the most. So the whole this is Mamalakalam. This is all to arrive at the union of Chukim, which is Seiva, but nonetheless in Seivim there is this Chalkos. To explain otherwise the mystifying medrash that comes at the end. Which, remember, it's not to explain the medrash, to understand the Likus, but in so doing we'll understand the medrash also.
Why are you saying that this is all in Seivim, where he clearly says this is Mamali?
I didn't say it's all in Seivim.
I'm sorry. I thought you said that. Sorry.
This is all to explain then the contrast to Soivev.
Okay. Sorry.
Where there is this chalkos, but not like this chalkos of Malakalam, which he says now very clear for us in the next few words. The whole zebchinas and Malakalam, she is chalkos be'etzem madrigosa. This is a lavush, and this is a keli aguf, and this is a shoydesh. This is the shoydesh, the shoma guf, lavush, heichel. All the likus, but a mahus acher. Mashenkim bechinas soiver kol almin, but not in soiver. That av sheyeshtram pratim adregis the keser of malchos. There's all the levels there that exist in Atzilus in the malach almin. The ad the svidis and cats, in fact, way more, endless svidis. It's not simply integrated and harmonious. It's all expression, the different levels are expression of the shleimus of the Ein Sof. And no level claiming title or maila over the other. No machlekes there. Natsilis is machlekes, Shammai and Hillel. Machlekes said, what is the best way to reveal the Eibishter? What are they arguing about? They're arguing about the Ratzon Elyon. What's the most effective way to be megal the Ratzon Elyon lamata? Shammai says if in a chesed, and Hillel says gvura, and Shammai says no, in the way of gvura. There's no such machlekes in the svidis ein ketz. It's the Ratzon Elyon. It's both simultaneously. Chesed and it's gvura. That's because it's l'maylim izman, and l'maylim izman completely, l'maylim igeder. There, it's all equally valid. Shammai and Hillel, they're talking about as we bring it down and seder azmanim, there has to be a seder. Halachin in zman agolos like Hillel, and in zman Mashiach like Shammai. It's a whole process. Because we're coming into this is all the world of malach alamin of ischalkus of time, a moment. Gone, another moment replacing it. In Svidis in Ketz, it's beyond Geder Azman. Ibem Satzils is also beyond time, but there's Inyan Azman. But in Svidis in Ketz, it's not even the notion of time. Meaning to say one thing doesn't replace the other. Everything is now, it's all the Shleimus of Elikus. It's Shammai and Hillel simultaneously. Shtaka will be Lasid Lavi, will be Mekayim, the mitzvah, like both at the same time. I think we learned that, or at least I shared that contrast. Okay, so let's finish to get to the sentence. No, we finished there. Okay, Vadugma, let's go a bit further. Okay, let's finish the paragraphs. Will help us. Vadugmal is an illustration from our own faculties. Vadugmal is there, meaning what? Different. He wants to bring out. What does he want to explain? It's a conundrum. We're trying to wrap our head around it. That there can be ischalkus levels and it's all one, as opposed to classic ischalkus. Vadugmal is there. So the parallel between Chachma and the Ratzin. Chachma, the beginning of Seichel, and the Ratzin, the pure will of the person. Now we're looking at intellect and rationale, which is Malak al-Almin. The whole point of Chachma is to give definition to things. So in the Doima Chachma, Yunus Chachma, you can't compare the a deep Chachma to practical Chachma. Practical wisdom, just how do you practically carry out the idea, or the idea in its theory. There's the theory of the idea and the practicality of the idea. They're two different worlds. After Shneim in Yonam Chachma v'Seichel, Varaya, that in the theory of the idea, very few people can relate to. But in the atom, the theory of relativity, but the practice of it, therefore we can do this and do that. Anybody can do it and then hammer out make the atom bomb. Here's the instruction manual and follow it, make the atom bomb. But how it works and how we got to the atom bomb, that's seichel, that's a very exclusive seichel. 3 people in the world understand E equals MC squared. They say, maybe today nobody. But the ramifications of that, and it's translated in the practicalities of the construction, the seichel of the construction. Chachmas HaMaisa, that is everybody can relate to. So that's just chalkus mamish. This is the Chachmi Yunis. It's a world, an exclusive world. Mashenkin berotzen. Its contrast is to rotzen. Will. Shabadugmas. Shudugma udugma b'chinas sevkol. That's b'chinas sevkol almin. Harigam b'asiyach alis teikef harotzen k'mei b'chach. If you want something, so the will. We'll address this next week. The will, whatever you want. He wants something practical, or he wants to learn something. Mitzad the rotzen, its intensity and what's the driving force is the same in both equally. Not compromised by what it is that the will is out to get. The will itself is present and drives the person equally. Whereas in Olam HaSeichel, the higher levels of Seichel, the lower IQs just are not there. Okay, we're getting a bit of an insight. The Ratzin, is the Ratzin doing different things? Is the Ratzin for a Dava Mais? Is it the Ratzin to learn something? I want. So it's coming in his chalkus. But in terms of the I want, it's the same I want. It's the same, it can be the same tkifus. The same intensity. Whether you want a complex thing or a simple thing. Doesn't change. The Ratzin doesn't change. I need to survive and be successful. I got to do a lot of things I got to do. So that, and they're disparate in the things I have to do. In their world, there's a practical thing, there's a theoretical, there's a lofty thing, there's a spiritual thing, there's a physical thing.
One chaos is just directed
and it's present and animating. It's coming in its chalkus. Why are you doing it? Because you want to. The whole inspiration is the Ratzin. But the Ratzin remains with its pshitus. It's my Ratzin. There's endless things I need to do to get my fundamental Ratzin carried out, which is basically survival and expression. Okay, to be revisited next Hashem on Monday.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, we don't have time for the...
Rabbi.
Yeah, okay. Abyssal, we understanding a little bit. Slowly. Huh?
Abyssal.
Abyssal is good.